I met a Gypsy.
No. I mean, so before we launched, our ambition was to sell 5,000 bikes the first year, and
Yeah.
everyone involved was like 5,000. That's a big target.
Same
That's
as
a
a
lot
tent.
of bikes. You think you can do that? Exactly. But I also felt like, wow, 5,000. It's probably going to be it's a big volume. But then we launched, and it was just crazy. I mean, the amount of interest that we received. So in the first 24 hours, the site was live 6 because it just kept on crashing, which is of course extremely annoying. But it was just too much interest, and still within those 6 hours, we sold 800 bikes. So as soon as the web went live, we sold 2 bikes every minute, like. Well, so like, okay, there's a lot of people that want to have this bike. That's obvious.
Yeah.
And that was then we really started understanding, okay, this is going to be much bigger than we thought. And within the first 6 weeks we sold, I think it was 5,000. And we had been building production lines, so we had 2 different factories now, one for the battery, one for the bike, and they're almost finished. So the bike assembly line is being tested right now as we speak. But this is prepared for building 5,000 bikes per year. We can probably push through several shifts to 1,200 bikes per month, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
So right now we're planning a new factory. So we're gonna start production with these production lines, and then now we're planning a new factory. So we're investing much more money than we expected, but that's fine. There's a lot of, the individuals that are behind this company have made a lot of money in the past, and we have decided to invest it into building Stark.
Yeah.
So now we are building a factory that should have a production capacity of 150,000 bikes per year.
Yeah. That's insane.
So that's
a big number.
It's insane. But it's a big number, and you can ask yourself, okay, how do you do that? That's not so easy. But our strategy is very much based upon the team that we have. So we're trying to build a super team.
Yeah.
And that's really one of my learnings is, to have the best people makes a tremendous difference when you want to create something. So we have been very, very focused on finding the best people, both within, how do you engineer a motorcycle? How do you engineer the electronics? We have some really, really great electronic engineers from Zagreb in Croatia. And, how do you build the best production line? So our CEO and production manager, they both have great experience from motorcycle industry and built several factories in the past for big motorcycle companies like Piaggio with these kind of volumes. So it's not just a group of, guys that are seeing what they can do. It's a super capable team that has done this before, and now we're just slightly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, and I think that was when I had spoke to you and Ben that first time, because I think that's always the impression, and I think especially in motocross, is there's so many companies that come and go, and especially people from like outside the industry. You get like a Joe Gibbs Racing or like Alta, that they come and then they go. It's just a tough gig. Like you're selling quite a niche product in terms of like all of the factors that we described before, like noise and mechanics, and so I think that people are skeptical within this industry in particular, but it was just something that I guess I found pretty clear when I spoke to you guys the first time. I was like, oh, that's not what this seems like to me. So I figured that was probably just like a good conversation to have, to kind of like give people a little bit more of that background,
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that I guess that's like the big question that people would mostly have is like, okay, like just the scaling side of it. But so with that extra scale, in terms of the orders. What does that allow you guys to do? Like, I guess that would present some challenges, but that I'm sure would also present some opportunities as well, right?
With the scaling the production?
Well, with the fact that you guys got so many more orders than you thought so quickly.
Yeah. I mean, so our ambition is to build premium motorcycles. It's not only about volume, of course, that's separated. But then, our ambition is to transform the motorcycle industry to sustainability. So how do you do that? Well, the higher share of people that buy a sustainable product, okay, then you're succeeding more. So I think that's the biggest win. That's getting a higher share of electric out there is very nice. And what's there, that's causing many different things. So we were talking to the British Federation last week.
Yeah.
And how can we incorporate electric into the current racing in the nationals in England? And when they realized, the volume of orders that we have in UK right now, they said, I think this was Thursday, they said, okay, we will withdraw the regulations this weekend, and they should be changed within 2 weeks. So, I mean, that would not have happened if we sold 20 bikes in UK. But now, like, everyone is realizing that, okay, this is transitioning very, very fast. So we have to make this a reality. So, I mean, there are several things. One of the benefits with higher volume that we're looking into is Stark superchargers.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, today we have a range that we think is similar to full tank of gas on a 450. It depends on how you ride, of course, and so on. But we believe it's going to be very beneficial if you can charge your bike at a track, quite quickly. So we're looking into, tracks all around the world where we could install Stark superchargers.
Yeah.
So you could go there and just plug in your bike, and it depends. If you're doing 2 heats in a race, probably you need to charge in between. So that would not be possible without the volume. So now we're looking into which areas in the world do we have most amount of customers right now, and then we're talking to these tracks to see what's possible. And I think we will probably, very likely that we will build Stark superchargers. It's early on right now, but that is made possible by the volume, of course.
Yeah. Where were the most orders come from, out of curiosity?
US. By far.
Okay. Yeah, right. Is there a particular, regions of the country where, because it does speak to, I guess, economics and socioeconomics in a way, where people are buying these bikes, especially in the US, it's quite I guess it's charged in that sense, so it'd be interesting to understand the breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, well, that we can talk about that for hours, but I think the biggest area for us is California, but all over US. I mean, East Coast, West Coast, there are orders from everywhere, basically. But I think it's the areas where people ride the most.
Yeah,
it seems it's not because the bike is maybe 10% more expensive than the 450s now. So it's not really. We're trying to not make it too expensive. It should be obtainable.
Yeah.
For everyone that can buy a new bike.
It's I was watching a bunch of the videos again before I come in here, and just the triple clamps, just to speak on the price point. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, dude, this bike is ridiculous. The triple clamps are aftermarket triple clamps essentially, and you guys are running the same kind of split clamps that the factory WP forks are running, and then there's the custom foot pegs that you guys have built, and then there's the axle block sliders that have clicks in them instead of just guessing and measuring. It's just, even I guess to speak on the price, it is crazy that you guys have made this bike for the price that you have, and this is just the initial offering. And I mean, I think with all of these kind of companies, there is an economy of scale to a point where, you know, things get cheaper. Like you can buy the raw materials of the bike for X amount, but then I guess you have to work backwards from there in terms of the labor and the marketing, and then, you know, like you kind of add the costs in from there. But the more that you build, the cheaper that you can make the units over time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I mean, it's a difficult choice. I mean, you can see some of the OEMs where, you know, you have like a casted top triple clamp, then you have a forged bottom one, and I mean, just from like a design perspective, it hurts. It hurts to see, like, it doesn't even match. Like the surface is so different. It's ugly. You know why? The difference, if you would just forge both, it would cost you $1 more in production.
Yeah, right.
Why can't you do that? So we're looking into different ways, and you know, sometimes you can make a product much better with a quite small difference in investment.
Yeah.
Then of course, having fully machined, you know, triple clamps in 7075 T6, that is quite expensive, but it's something that makes quite a big difference on the performance of the bike. So we thought, okay, it's worth it. We will invest some money here to have better performance. And then of course in the chain adjuster, you know, it's costing a little bit more. You know, just have this bolt with a nut that you're used to with the 2 wrenches. It's a super cheap solution, but it's a shit solution. I mean, as a motorcycle mechanic, every time in my life I have adjusted chains, I've been swearing about this. Why the fuck do I have to do this? There must be a better way to do it. So it was the same for us. I remember when we had the conversation, okay, we have to make the chain adjusters now. What are we going to do? I was like, we couldn't make normal chain adjusters. We had to do something better. It would feel, couldn't sleep on that. We have to make it better. And foot pegs, we could have just used some existing foot pegs.
That's worse than chain adjusters. On the stock, like as bikes now, that's the job I hate the most, is putting new foot pegs on a bike. I think that is the worst job in motorcycling. So to see that the way that those go in, that to me is a huge win.
Oh, the clip.
Yeah.
You mean the clip there?
Oh, worst part.
Oh yeah, that's so annoying. Yeah. Yeah. Every time you bleed, you slip with your fingers and I mean. That pin is ridiculous. So I think these are just things that have been inherited over so many years.
Yeah.
And no one is questioning why. And we care so much. We cannot, this is our baby. We cannot, give our baby out there with a solution that we hate. We have, if we can do it better, we do that. But then I think sometimes, we have to balance it, but we're really, really bad in that normally. So we, for instance, we finished all of the bodywork of the bike 1.5 years ago, basically. And I mean, we had 2 designers in Barcelona working full time on that. And when it was done, we had some GP guys there, and like they liked the ergonomics, and it was looking good, but it was not really perfect. So in the end, we decided to, okay, we have to redo it. So we spent basically 2 guys working, full 70 weeks plus some, well, of course, a lot of other engineering resources to redo it. So we developed all the bodywork 2 times.
Wow.
Which was unnecessary, of course. But because like it's so difficult, if we could make this better.
Yeah, such a
we have to
that's such a dope mindset, and I think that like it just comes across in the product too.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy gang.